jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports.
Shout out to the hottest chat in the MFing game. A-Side official. No negotiation needed, period. You already know. The first in the building. Carlos is on deck. I see you. Salute to you, brother. You already know. Big Blunts and Boxing is in the building. Salute to you, man. Good to see you on deck, bro. Hope all is well with everybody coming off Memorial Day. I know a lot of people was either, at a cookout, chilling, spending time with family, whatever the case may be. Before we get into it, I want to talk about some other collective topics. All right. First, I want to begin by saying that Errol Spence Jr. has found a new trainer. You know what I'm saying? I first seen this over ILTBA boxing. He's doing a I just spoke about this the other day. I said I didn't know who it is. So y'all definitely go check out ILTBA boxing talk. And he's over there in Texas where Errol's at. So he'll be able to give you more information on that. But the good thing about it, I spoke about Errol Spence returning to the ring in October. He has a trainer now. The fight's going to be in his hometown, and he's going to be on weight. Just like I said, previously, before he stepped out to fight Terrence Crawford, I said, wherever he has a fight in Texas, he's going to be good. He ain't going to have no weight struggles. Step out of Texas, he's going to have weight struggles. This time fighting Fundora, he's going to be straight. New trainer, at home. He should be able to, drop those pounds the right way. People won't be up here making excuses and all this other stuff because he don't need no excuses now with Fundora. He need to go in there and have the best performance of his life. Okay. I don't know why my audio be crazy low, man. Like it changes every freaking time I go live, bro. Thanks, man. It's crazy, man. 1 minute, the audio's too loud, and then the next minute's too low. Let me see. What about that? What about that right there? Is it straight? Is it straight? Again, this audio straight. Let me good. Let me just do me one. Do me better instead of asking you. Take a listen to it myself. Is audio straight? Let me just Mic checker 1 2 1 2. It sounds crispy to me. Mic check 1 2 1 3. In the place to be. Okay, let's get rocking. Let's get rocking. So, as I told you before, Errol Spencer's got a new trainer. He has about 16 plus weeks out before his fight. And, everybody's waiting to see how he looks in there. But first, we have plenty of other fights that I've spoken about. I just wanted to throw that out there about Errol Spence. It's good to see you had another trainer. I told my audience that you was done with Diddy James after that fight. It was no returning. I absolutely put it out there, and people was up here debunking me, talking about he's still with Diddy James, and it's just rumor mill. No, I said he's done with Derrick James. He's done. It's over. After that performance, it's no more. And I love how the usual suspects went behind me and say he is still with Diddy James and they're gonna do this, that, and the other. Not only is he not with Diddy James, but they have a pending legal situation that both of them has filed paperwork. You know what I'm saying? The plaintiff and defendant. So that in itself, we'll just see how that works out. Next, if you haven't heard, now you heard. Canelo Alvarez has vacated the IBF title. He's going to, or he's about to. I spoke about this yesterday because it was on my mind. I said, there's no way that Canelo's going to fight a guy called William Skull. There's no way. So now William Skull will fight somebody. The IBF has been shaking up boxing just a little bit with the decisions they've been making. So I'm thinking Edgar Berlanga, this might be his moment to get that title shot he's always wanted. You know what I'm saying? Edgar Berlanga might be next up. Who knows? Because they was talking about putting him in place of William Skull. The boxing fans, the boxing enthusiasts, the media pundits, they wasn't trying to see this fight between Canelo waste our time. Who's going to finance that? And then when you heard the purse bid come up, you already know what it was. They wasn't going to waste their time because I said I was going to go there and bid on the fight. I was going to put my bid in. That probably made a lot of people say, you know what? He's right. He should come in here and put the bid in because we're not going to waste no time on it. We're not going to pay Canelo Alvarez millions to fight this guy, this Cuban fighter. We don't even know really how old he is. We don't know how long he's been fighting. Real talk. We have no idea. So I'm glad that Canelo is coming off the belts because Crawford Canelo, they don't need the belts. The names are what brings the vortex together. You know what I'm saying? The names themselves, they have done enough in boxing to this don't need to be a title fight for Undisputed. That's why I like what Crawford has going on in his career because he can just go and stay on the quest to become 154-pound, 3-time Undisputed at that weight class. And then for the icing with the chocolate strawberry, you know what I'm saying, on top, he can fight Canelo in 2025. That's if everything goes well with these fights lining up and the whole situation play out the way it's supposed to. I have total confidence that it will do so. But Canelo is coming off that IBF title. The IBF was really shaking things up, for the heavyweight Undisputed, Alexander Usyk. IBF is trying to force him to come off that freaking title. Seriously, if he don't fight his mandatory, it's going to be between Philippe Herkovic and Daniel Dubois. And then you saw what happened with Crawford. You know what I'm saying? They end up stripping him of his freaking time. This is not the first time the IBF has started dancing. This is not the first time. We've seen them do it to Gennady Golovkin. We've seen it happen plenty times before. It would have happened to Teofimo Lopez if he wouldn't have fought George Kambosos. That's why he chose to fight George Kambosos. They keep his IBF title, which has worked out great for Devin Haney in the end. But let's get down to, the interview. Deontay Wilder recently was, he had an interview where they've been talking about this may potentially be his last fight. And I can understand coming off the Joseph Parker fight and not just basically going off Deontay Wilder's, his performance and all that. It's just he himself has mentioned retirement. He himself has pretty much put the statement out there about the lack of hunger, his appetite not being as urgent as it used to be. You know what I'm saying? His hunger is being different for the sport. Deontay is much older now. He's made millions in the sport, and he's pretty much been one of the best heavyweight champions of this era. And I will say this as a fan of Deontay Wilder, being that he's closing down on his career, I definitely will miss him as far as what he brought to the heavyweight division. Because since he's been kind of out of the picture without a belt, it hasn't been nothing. We just saw what happened between the grandstand. It's supposed to be the culminating moment. We just saw it. We just seen what happened. It was a straight debacle. Like, it was a good fight. Now peep this. Usyk, all this controversy is going. I'm not going into detail. Usyk trying to fight for the freaking IBF exemption and all this other shit. But with Wilder and what he's been able to accomplish in his time, it's been absolutely great, man. You know what I'm saying? 16-year career, Olympian, fast-tracked, you know what I'm saying? Was able to go up here and, be one of the most electrifying heavyweights in the game. Very vocal, very boisterous. And Deontay Wilder made some good points in this interview. The good thing I like about where he's at right now in his life is that, he's speaking more so like an older gentleman who understands he'll go down in history as being one of the greats. But it's almost like he's gotten older now. The wisdom is there, the feather in the cap, his understanding of who he always been. If Deontay Wilder, if his fans didn't understand who he was, Deontay always understood who he was. And for all of you that followed me, when he first lost his title, I told him, not literally, but I told him on live, I said, Deontay, you shouldn't give these fans all that attention that they've been getting. Because I tell people all the time, I've seen this man do interviews and take pictures and close down the show. He didn't have to do that, but he was always the people's champ, right? Even though you had so many of the boxing fans out here going through the same rigmarole, you already know I'm not going to take you down there. I'm not going to walk you down there for free. I'm not going to walk you down that road for free, man. It's not worth it. And what happened when he came back? What happened when he came back after seeing all his fans treat him, not all his fans, but all these fans treat him the way they did? He had Malik Scott talking to him. He didn't have too much to say. He felt some type of way with Tyson Fury. He said he was going to get it back in blood. You know what I'm saying? It was a whole lot of controversy in the rematch heading into the trilogy. Just the mere fact where people was riding this man off and saying he should retire. because he only had one loss, y'all. This man had one loss. Anthony Joshua's been had 3 losses. This man had one freaking loss fighting considerably the best heavyweight. The best heavyweight, because they say he ain't fought nobody. He has one loss in the rematch, shuts it down because anybody who hung around who's basically able to pull out the board and surf that wave when Wilder was on top, and they used to talk about how he talked. He's from Tuscaloosa. He had some country in him, and they had an issue with it. But Wilder always spoke with that confidence, and he knew who he was as a fighter, as a man. And the way he fast-tracked himself from the Olympics, right, up through the professional ranks and understanding what the bronze bomber meant. He's an Olympic bronze medal champion. This man would go on to pick up the WBC title and reign for several years, over 5, with 10 successful defenses. He will be missed. He will be truly missed. Yes, I had the pleasure of growing up when Ali was still in the ring. But I always tell people that's listening and tuned in that Deontay Wilder is that Ali for me in this era. No other heavyweight champion. For me, and what I've experienced and what I know, I never had to break bread with the man. I've seen him in several locations, even when he was eating. That man stopped eating. Wilder stopped eating to talk to me when he was down here in Atlanta for a fight card that Tay Jones was on. He was in the building to support Tay Jones, and the man stopped eating. This is the reigning heavyweight champion, sitting over there with his people, chilling, and he stopped eating, wasn't stuck up, wasn't on that. He's never been on that shit, man. And all I can say is heading into this fight with Zhang, there's so many people that's more so orientated around trying to bring all the freaking the choir together. You know what I'm saying? They want to bring everybody, with lit candles and shit. They want to say, hey, I want everybody to come to this freaking chat so we can talk about Deontay Wilder's retirement. And Zhang is older than Wilder, but yet they continue to talk about Wilder's retirement. You know what I'm saying? They feel like this is a long time coming. It's been some people that's just been trying to say, we want to see Wilder out the sport because they don't like the man. That's all. Be honest with yourself. Let's go through this interview via the Zone. Let people know where his mind is at heading into this fight. He talk about what Turk Al-Sheikh, you know what I'm saying, what he said about bringing him back. He talks about common sense, you know what I'm saying, understanding who he was as a person. And I never really heard him talk and be so descriptive like this, but he always understood what people thought about him. He always understood who he was and how the fans was never satisfied. So when Deontay Wilder stopped being the loud, boisterous, outspoken fighter, the bronze bomber, then people had a problem with him being at peace, Deontay Wilder. And that makes all the sense in the world. I used to tell people all the time, they don't appreciate it. This man is giving you bomb squad all day, every day. The haters that'll sit up there and talk this shit about Wilder, they'll be the main ones wanting a picture with him. They'll be the main one wanting a picture with him. Damn, that's Wilder. Let's see, can I get a picture with him? Let's go to this interview.
It was a lesson for me, but it became a blessing when I got home. I can't wait for the fight. I love to being a good action fight. You know, it's almost like an action movie. I love the thrill of it. I love the suspense of what's going
Deontay Wilder,
How you
back
doing?
again.
Yes, sir.
It's good to see you again.
Likewise.
There was a little part of me that after the Parker fight, I was like, is that it, or are we going to see it again? Did you ever have that in the back of your mind? Did you already know that, no, we're doing this again. We're not going out like that?
I knew it. I knew immediately that we're
Yeah?
gonna do it again. You know, I didn't know where. I didn't. Like I said, I didn't know where. Thank God I'm back again in the kingdom, so I can get that one back. You know what I mean? It's a different opponent, but I can show the people, the coaches, that I want to deliver
Yeah.
what I said. I want to deliver.
Wilder, Deontay Wilder, the former WBC heavyweight champion, said he want to show the people, the culture. He want to get that back. That being, the one loss he had over there with Joseph Parker. And we're talking, he's going to go into detail as to that particular fight. But, it was a mediocre performance. It was bad. Deontay Wilder is going to go through that whole process of explaining to you, the listeners.
The man that they was expecting. That man was mostly at peace. But it's crazy how human beings are. We can't please human beings, because for me it's always been damn if I do, damn if I don't. Because when I became the Wilder, the Wilder that talks reckless because of how I feel, because I feel like I risk my life for others' entertainment. So let me speak how I feel. I'm a fighter. I'm a gladiator. So listen to what I'm saying, because
he said, listen to what he's saying. When Wilder was extremely loud with his mouthpiece, letting the fans know, like, you have to process this shit, right? Everybody's imagination isn't a broad imagination. Some people have enclosed imaginations. They're in a bubble. They don't think way out there, and think about, is this really supposed to be going on? Deontay spoke very loudly, and he said something that it was really nothing too crazy and disrespectful. What are you expecting in a full contact sport? What do you want? This is the heaviest division in boxing out of 17 classes. And people used to complain about Deontay Wilder's talking, how boisterous he was. They used to talk about this shit all the time. Like they go get these fighters out the motherfucking Christian Academy. Like they're special ordering, and these have to go through prerequisite check. Like they have to go through a welcome aboard package and fill out this entire application. They used to talk about how they used to complain about how this man was talking. They used to, how he's talking. Not the fighter that goes in the ring and by the right hand of God be putting opponents to sleep. Talking. We're talking. That's what we mentioning. We're in conversation about talking. Not the way he's able to fast track through the amateurs up to the professional ranks and become WBC champion. It's all about talking.
These are the emotions that I'm speaking from my heart. My mouth is just a mouthpiece that's telling you what I'm passionate about, how I feel, But then when you come with peace, nobody
where's
wants
the old
it.
Wilder?
Yeah.
Bring the old Wilder back.
Yeah, it's crazy, But
Can you be?
It is crazy that they want the old Wilder back once he said he was at peace, because the old Wilder, the way he spoke, he was just letting his opponents know. He was letting his hands do the talking along with his tone of voice. He was going out there, and his earlier fights, he was just all bombs away. You know what I'm saying? The bronze bomber. The bronze bomber. And you already know he was famous and still is for this.
Bomb Squad!
Everybody want to hear the Bomb Squad. It wasn't no other fighter in the sport that had that. Deontay Wilder had the Bomb Squad, and people wanted to hear that. When they see him in person, they wanted to hear the Bomb Squad. They wanted to be on camera with it. As much as they was, some of these people was hating. When he spoke, they was listening, but they always had some bitching and moaning and complaining to do.
Both? Can you be a little bit of the peaceful guy, but and also a bit of the old Wilder? Can the two work together?
Outside the ring, though, you can be peaceful outside the ring, but inside of this, it's no peace because I'm risking my life, and I take that seriously. I have children I have to go home to, and you have to have a mindset of a warrior, of a killer. You just have to have it. You know, only the strong survive. You know what I mean, in this business, and if you don't have that killer instinct or that mentality, you're not gonna last long in there. You know.
And Wilder's talking about the killer instinct. If you don't have it, you're not going to last long. And that's true because he's lasted. He's lasted through the test of time. If there's anyone who's comparing heavyweights of this era, right? And you look at Wilder and the conversation, the topics of debate on who he fought. When he fought Fury 3 times, there's plenty other heavyweights like Anthony Joshua who fought Alexander Usyk twice, lost twice. Deontay Wilder fought, Tyson Fury 3 times and lost twice. It happens in the sport of boxing. It does. It happens in the sport of boxing. But the mentality of the fighter is different. No one can say that Deontay Wilder quit in any one of his fights. No one can say he quit. No one can say he wasn't ever hurt in any of his fights. No one can ever say that he doesn't have some of the most electrifying highlight reels. You know what I'm saying? He's one of the fighters that has some electrifying highlight reels is out there. That's a fact.
Did you have the killer instinct against Parker?
I didn't. I was the peaceful. I was more peaceful.
How did you get that back?
Well, getting that back first start off, talking to Turkey, His Excellency, and they don't want the peaceful Wilder.
No.
Nobody wants the peaceful Wilder, I got criticized so much for being the wild man Wilder, that it kind of made me like, so, why do I need to express myself and display a certain thing when I'm not being appreciated for it?
Talk that, Wilder. Talk to him. It's a lot of people that didn't appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? And it's been plenty of times, right? That WCS was, criticized for being an avid Deontay Wilder fan. You know what I'm saying? I was absolutely and still is a fan of Deontay Wilder. You know what I'm saying? He is absolutely the best heavyweight, in my opinion, of this era and how he sparked the heavyweight division. You know what I'm saying? How he was able to bring that entertainment value up. There are always going to be criticism. I always use this comparison and balancing out, y'all, to make my point. You take Wilder, who they said had very loose technique, very undeveloped, fragmented. They will always tell you that he only has a puncher's chance with the right hand. So all the criticism was because he's a one-trick pony. He either land the right hand or he don't. But 43 victories and 42 knockouts, that means he was knocking heads off, right? And then you look at the Crawford situation where you get a fundamentally 360, technically sound, astute boxer. And what does Wilder say? You can't plead the fans. Them human beings, you can never satisfy human beings. So we give Crawford, whose technique is well developed, and he has pretty much had, if not equal to, more hate than Deontay Wilder. I think Wilder received more hate than Crawford. They're pretty neck and neck. But Wilder is complete in its totality when it comes to the sweet science, technically proficient. As a Wilder in the heavyweight division, they criticized the hell out of him as if he owed people money and didn't pay, as if he didn't pay his trainer. You know what I'm saying? They criticized him like he popped dirty for Ostarine. They criticized him like he put plaster of Paris in his right hand, and that's why he was knocking people out. It's never been a source of controversy for Wilder to negate his strongest point of reference, and that's been the goddamn right hand of God. It's never been a moment where people said, he was cheating. He never got that label placed on him. It's just people don't like how he talk, don't like how he walk. They're acting more so like a female should. A female should be looking at the visual and you know, if they choose to be attracted to Wilder in that case, or may have relationship with Wilder, but not dudes, not these boxing fans out here. They shouldn't be paying so much attention to a guy and say, okay, I feel so much animus towards him because he don't have overall boxing skills like Alexander Usyk. He can't put his combinations together like Fury. Now they criticizing Fury the way he looked against Usyk. You're never going to satisfy these human beings, especially if they're boxing fans.
So let me go to peace. So we know in this world it's all about chaos, it's all about war, you know, in this world. So when I do bring the peace, hey, we don't want him no more. We don't, like, what the hell you want then? What do you want from me?
What do you want?
Yeah, for me, I wanna be successful. Yeah. You know, for me, I want to provide my greatness, my service to my greatness. I just want to be me. At the end of the day, when I see my life, I see my legacy, and I see my career, I just want people to accept who I am. I'm trying to give you the warrior mentality of how I see it as I live it. I'm trying to allow people to hear me as I go through life and navigate through life through my eyes of what I'm feeling when I'm training to go to war, when I'm training to get in that ring and risk my life for others' entertainment.
So he's trying to basically take his fans on the journey. Along. You know what I'm saying? Just call them a ride share. You know what I'm saying? Someone who isn't in support of the Bronze Bomber, but they want to be somewhere close to the Bronze Bomber so they can collect the information that usually piss these naysayers off. It's always been like that. If you don't support a fighter so heavy, why do you know so much about what you don't like about that fighter? Because obviously he got you paying attention. That's why you get so close, because you want to be there. You want to be involved. It's nothing else that people want to hear. You know what I'm saying? When Wilder criticism was rampant, you know what I'm saying? People wanted to get close to it so they can be a part and go on panels and talk about Wilder. But you don't like him though. And then to his fans that really rock with him heavy, you know, those are the ones that understood what he said. Those are his words. That wasn't his fans putting words in his mouth. He said he wanted to take, you know, his fans on a journey. He wanted to take those who was boxing diehards, enthusiasts on the journey through his eyes. He didn't say he was out here begging to be accepted. He never said that shit.
And if I can't speak how I'm feeling inside, then why do it? You know, because nobody wants to go in there and hit a man in the face and talk about we at peace. That's not peace. Yeah. That's the opposite of things. You know what I mean? No one's talk about over 13 fighter dies a year in this business. Nobody wanted to hear that. And then when we get old, guess what? We get a pat on the back and say, oh, that was a great fighter back in these days, while the promoters and managers still riding around in Rolls Royces, driving in mansions and sending their kids off to private school. While this guy was at, you know.
Pretty much that's the reality of it all. You know what I'm saying? That's a cold reality right there. That's a cold reality, yo. You know what I'm saying? You know, there are fighters that die a year. If those fighters aren't the most popular fighters and they're fighting on regional levels, we just had a brother die recently. Yeah, his press play was very limited. People might have spoke on it. Yes, so and so passed away. You know, he had just you know, had a fight. I think he was in the combat league where they fight one round, and the brother was knocked out, I believe, and he didn't recover. There's been several fighters throughout decades upon decades to pass. But just the fact that Wilder mentioned it, just the fact that he's in the heavyweight division, and they always consider him to be a skinny fighter, one that came in light, you know, once again, didn't have the boxing skills, but God blessed him with a chin. God blessed him with, you know, that defense mechanism. You know, they bless him with a strong neurological headquarters that his lights don't get shut off in the heavyweight division. Like, he proved that you don't have to weigh a lot. You don't have to be in the 300s to take a punch. He's been punched in the body, punched in the head. You know what I'm saying? But what does his box rec say? What does his box rec say? He's been what? Stopped by three of his losses. He's been stopped by Tyson Fury. So that means everybody outside the name of Tyson Fury wasn't able to put this man down for the count. And Deontay Wilder will go down in history as the only man to knock Tyson Fury out, period. But at the end of the day, you cannot satisfy him. You can't satisfy these cats. You know, Wilder gave you what he gave you. He talked the talk and he walked the walk. And you know, his critics know that they was paying attention to Wilder because everybody else was. His critics know that shit. Who else was in the sport that was getting this talk? Anthony Joshua, yeah, to a certain point, but that was to be exposed. And this is not an Anthony Joshua live, so I'm not going to go into that. I'm just keeping it pretty much directed on what Deontay Wilder is talking about. You know what I'm saying? He's making some very, very good points.
Towards just driving in mansions and sending their kids off to private school, while this guy was at, you know, he was a good fighter, but have nothing to show for. Nobody respects a guy that's at peace, but a guy that they think crazy, and they know that he's with the they don't want him. When people look at me and I'm passionate about what I say because I speak from my heart, and my mouth is just a mouthpiece that's speaking, that's saying what my heart is saying. And I give it to the people. So my action in the ring, and when I knock a man out to do what I do for over the years and the years, that's been, you guys have been the witnesses. I'm proving to what I'm feeling or what I'm saying. And
I'll have to say this, you know, having been to several of his fight camps, right? Having did, you know, more than one interview with Wilder. He always look you in the eye when he's talking. He ain't looking at the ceiling fan. You know what I'm saying? He's talking to you. I'm probably the only content creator that pretty much has gotten to this day, both in an interview and after he knocked out a fighter. You know what I'm saying? I mean, hey, the man was a special fighter. I didn't support him based off those who supported me, and I got a confirmation from those listeners who was tuned into WCS to say, okay, they agree with me. Okay, I'm gonna continue to support Wilder. No, I went through the fire. I walked through the criticism. I've been called all these you know, these cliche names when it comes to Deontay Wilder. But at the end of the day, I had nothing to do with him stepping into the ring. What he did allow me to happen, he allowed me to be a part of his journey, you know, partially be a part of that here and there and everywhere. I was able to cover him behind the scenes. I was able to go to the Barclays and cover him, you know what I'm saying, before he went out there to the press conference. That was a blessing, bro. That was a freaking blessing. I ain't gonna lie. That was a fucking blessing. This man was a reigning, defending WBC champ. That was a blessing. Real talk. That was an absolute blessing, bro. I'm not gonna lie. You know, it ain't no other heavyweight champion right now that give you that energy, give you the personality, and has that bomb squad effect. You know what I mean? I don't know if y'all forgot what I'm talking about, but this right here. Bomb squad! Let's get back to the interview.
To be working with the Saudis and to bring that back, and they saying we don't want that guy, we want this guy back.
We want that guy.
Yeah, and they're paying the bills.
So good then. Collect that money, right?
You know what I mean?
It's the money you deserve for the career you've had.
He said that's money you deserve for the career you had. Hey, talk to him now.
I always said to people that critiqued you for the Parker loss, I said, Wilder's always about timing. It's about timing. When that right hand lands, and I said he hasn't fought more than one round in 2 years.
Yeah.
How do you get your timing? So even though you lost to Joseph Parker, was it good to get 12 rounds in the ring so you can get that timing back?
Most definitely. And we looked at all aspects of that situation. You know, that situation was a lesson for me. And we always say that certain
Did
things.
you overlook him?
I didn't overlook him. I didn't overlook. I don't overlook no fighter that steps
No,
in the
because
ring.
you know why I say that? It's because when I interviewed you and I said, "What's next?" It was AJ. So was there not one part of your brain that was thinking AJ's next?
You know, well, I always say that I don't never look past a fighter, but I look through. It's just like being in the mall. You got to look through the windows, right? So that's something that I look. I never look past, but I look through.
He said he never looked past a fighter. That's basically jettison the danger that a fighter may present to you, or what you have to go in the ring and expect in the art of war, and full contact, sweet science of boxing. Full contact, sweet science of boxing. He also made a very slick analogy to you look through a window. He said he looks through his opponent. Is he right or wrong? Does he make sense? He does. He definitely makes sense. You can look through a window of a store, doesn't mean you're going to go in there. Or you can walk up and you can see the mannequins and shit and you can just walk on past it. You know what I'm saying? And not even look and see what store it is up top. Don't even know the name or anything. I guarantee you look through the motherfucking window and see something you like. You look up there and you say, oh, okay. All right. You either going to go in or you're going to pass it up.
You know, just the motivation of what's next to come if you get past this, but not being able to sit the main task aside. You know, before you get to the dessert, you must eat the main course. Mom, dad won't let you get that dessert. You know what I mean? So that's what's the thing about it. But it was good to get a 12 rounds in, because if it was the reversal, if I was Joseph Parker and he was me, he wouldn't have lasted. I didn't supposed to go 12 rounds, been out of the ring for 2 years.
Talk to him, champ. Dip him in the grease, champ. He said he wasn't supposed to go 12 rounds. That's just talking about the toughness and durability of Deontay Wilder, bro. This man hadn't fought over a round in 2 years, where you had Joseph Parker coming off a knockout loss and then go through 3 ragu sauce cans and then step in there with Deontay Wilder, very active in fight camp, very active, and stepping into the ring. Even though 2 of those fights, one ended in 3 rounds and one ended in 6 and the other one went the distance, he still was active as a fighter. So Joseph Parker came in there with the help of Tyson Fury and everybody else to make sure he get this. They had everything. Joseph Parker looked sharp against Wilder, very sharp against Wilder. Or did Wilder not look the way he was supposed to allow Joseph Parker to shine? I would say Joseph Parker had the better game plan that night, period. Wilder didn't look like the Wilder. He looked like a fighter who, I don't know. I don't know how much time he spent in fight camp. I don't know what the strategy was. He looked like there was no sense of urgency. He wasn't, the killer instinct for him to go out and hunt wasn't there. It seemed like he was very sang-froid, you know what I'm saying, in that fight. So I get where he at with it. I get where he at with it. But the point is, Joseph Parker was active, and Deontay Wilder wasn't supposed to go 12 rounds with the man. And Joseph Parker hurt him and couldn't stop him. He couldn't stop the Bronze Bomber. What? This man hadn't fought for 1 round in 2 years, and you couldn't stop him? And you had 4 mother effing fights?
Bomb Squad! When he's an active fighter, that was his 5th fight of that year. I didn't even know I was out of the ring for 2 years because of things I was doing outside of the ring that keeps me going and whatever. When you get so busy, you feel like you see that years is not long no more. They're only months.
They catch up quickly.
They go by so quickly. Well, now, when you're not doing nothing, you're not busy, and you just sitting around not doing that, a year can go by so. It takes a long time because you're still trying to figure out every day. You're trying to figure out what to do. But when you got something to do, it's like you ain't got enough time in the day, and that's how it is with me. But that was a lesson for me, and they always say lessons become blessings only if you apply it to life and use it.
Lessons become blessings only if you apply it to life. Use it. lessons become blessings. I like that. You know, lessons become blessings only if you correctly, if it's applied correctly to your life, if it's beneficial to what you got going on.
And that loss was a lesson for me, but it became a blessing when I got home. Because when I got home, I became a gym rat all over again.
Oh, I've
It
seen the
became a
stuff with
job
you
for
and
me.
Malik Scott. I've seen what
Uh,
you guys have been doing, and
uh,
it looks quite crazy and painful. How do you use that lesson against Zhili Zhang on Saturday?
I just gotta go in there and be me. Do what I know what I can do. I've trained hard for it. So, during the last fight, it's like I trained hard as well, but I couldn't pull the trigger. I seen certain things, but my body wouldn't react. But that was because of the long layoff and certain things that we did in camp that we could have changed up.
Okay.
Kind of mess certain things up, but all that's in the lesson of things,
He said all that is in the lesson. I know there's some people that the only reason they pay attention to Wilder is to see if he's making excuses about something. They're not really listening to him for substance. You know, to basically be a listening ear, a non-biased listening ear, be open-minded, receiving what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people is not receptive. You know, when he was talking his talk back in the day, you know, those individuals who rock with him heavy, yeah, we listen. But of course, all the naysayers that was there, they was only in attendance to find something wrong. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like the most controversial stuff he said was on the Breakfast Club when he said the Bronze Bomber's trying to catch a body in the ring. And then all these people start crying like they was protesting his removal for the sport. You know, that's what I was saying. Like, where do you think they get these fighters from? What do you think these fighters are allowed? Why is Bernard Hopkins praised so very much for his backstory and what he did, how he got, locked up and came back, and one of the greats, you know what I'm saying, one of the legends of the sport? How? Why do people tend to be very picky, so to speak, on who they want to raise and to the idolatry of boxing, who they want to plant the crown of acceptance on? These finicky ass boxing fans, they never ever will be satisfied.
And now we have a second opportunity to correct a lot of things and present myself now, So
Let me get to the chat right quick. Let me get to those who are in the chat. Shout out to Mike on deck. I see you in the building, man. Brim on deck. What's good? Arnold Brown on deck. Salute. Shout out to my brother, Mr. Gumbo, a.k.a. Hot Grease. Salute to you. Shout out to the MACKMOBB. The Mac Mob is on deck. What it do, B Mac? I see you. What's good? OGW shares Hot Grease cooking. One love to the chat. No doubt, brother. One love to you. Appreciate you pulling up. Appreciate Gumbo pulling up, man. He said, I'm going to be home my son's wedding. That's great, man. And, you tuned into this live, so, you get that KING love. You know what I'm saying? That Deontay Wilder love, man. You know what I'm saying? Appreciate one of Deontay's heaviest supporters, Mr. Gumbo, a.k.a. Hot Grease. I appreciate you, dog.
It's going to be a different fight this time around, And if it's not a different fight, then retirement is definitely highly, highly considered.
Did y'all hear that? There's no need for the hate. Because from Deontay Wilder's take, he understands what his career has been and where it's headed. If it's time for him to step out into retirement, then let it be said and definitely let it be done. Because he's the boxer. He's the one that's been in this for 16 years. And he's pretty much letting y'all know he understands when the door is ajar and it's time for him to retire. He understands that. He's saying it's highly, if he doesn't win this fight, it's highly that he consider. Now, does he get, or will he get, vilified for retiring? Because boxing fans have to make up their mind. Like, if you're saying he's too old, he need to be retired. Well, if he goes in here and it's his last fight, You're gonna have people up here talking about, see, he should retire. What does that do for you though? That's one less fighter that you have to hate on. So I'm saying you will more so want that energy to stay here because it's not like you have a whole lot of fighters that you can talk shit about all the time. That's still actively stepping through the ropes. And Wilder being the big name he is, you're gonna miss him. You know the haters, they're gonna miss him. If he says this is his last fight, he retired, well, you gonna come back online tomorrow? Yeah, Deontay Wilder. You're not gonna feel any better about yourself because this man is doing something on his own free will. It's time for him to retire like so many other fighters have. He's retiring if he choose to do so. You feel me? I mean, I hear people talking and talking and talking and talking, and they talk about how old Wilder is, and they refuse to mention Zhang. Zhang is older than Wilder. You know what I'm saying? Zhang has losses on his record, but they feel better speaking about this potentially being Wilder's last fight. I get it, Shawty.
I'd hate to see that.
A lot of people would, a lot of people would, some people over the years have just gotten hardcore fans into boxing. And some have mentioned, I want that Wilder back. Like everybody I want that Wilder back. I want to see those highlight moments again and different things like that while I'm involved in boxing, while I understand it, or while I see it is evolving and things like that, So
Are you saying it's now a must-win?
What's that?
Is it a must-win fight now?
Yeah.
You hear the question that was asked? Straightforward, the tip of an arrow. It doesn't get any sharper than that. Is this a must-win? Yes. How do you criticize somebody if they retire after this fight when they telling you it's a must-win for them to continue? You know what I'm saying? Of course, we heard the rumor mill that he get through Zhang, he'll be fighting Mr. freaking Red Eye, flee the police into the guardrail. I want to make cops 9 p.m. Sharp. Jared Anderson. Supposedly, that might be his next opponent. But I don't want to put that out there because Deontay Wilder said he doesn't look past. He looked through his opponent. So we don't want to talk about that right now. We want to keep it on Zhang respectfully. Respectfully.
I think so.
Yeah.
And I like that pressure because when you're under pressure, it brings the best out of you if you really want it. Unless you want to lay down and just fade off into the sunset and accept what you've already done. And I don't want to accept what I've already done because I feel like I have more to give.
What more do you want to do? You were a long-standing WBC heavyweight champion. You've had those big fights. Some wins, some losses. That's part of the sport. What more do you want to do?
I'm and I want that Wilder back.
Are you saying it's now a must-win?
What's that?
Is it a must-win?
Lay down and just fade off into the sunset and accept what you've already done. And I don't want to accept what I've already done because I feel like I have more to give.
What more do you want to do? You were a long-standing WBC heavyweight champion. You've had those big fights. Some wins, some losses. That's part of the sport. What more do you want to do?
I want to add my name to the list of unified champion. Yeah. As long as I'm still in this business, I want to be champion. I mean, I feel if anyone, any fighter that's in this business don't want to be a champion, then what? Don't get in it. What's the point?
Especially if you're at the top tier.
Especially because the money, they can't say the money because you really make the big dollars when you become the champion. It's not just going on the way up. On the way up, you're getting fed certain things until you become at the top. And then until you become at the top, you become a champion. And then, you're not longer a champion. You're still in that range of still making some good ass money. But if you never.
So he's saying, when he did lose the title, as a champion, he made good money. And without the belt, as a former champion, he made good money. You know what I'm saying? So what he did pretty much worked out to his benefit. It was sustainable, right? He did what he needed to do to support his family. That's what a lot of this is about when it comes to the naysayers. These are individuals that just look at Wilder. They don't look at, him staying out of prison, him not being, on the front of someone's mugshot, taking care of his family. Yeah, we all not perfect. So they can talk about what went down with his brother and everything else and all this other shit. But at the end of the day, the man's out here being a warrior. He reigned for over 5 years. I mean, that's not an easy task. Just look around at the other heavyweights. Fury didn't reign for over 5 years. Usyk haven't reigned for over 5 years. Joshua didn't reign for over 5 years. It doesn't matter how many titles you had. I'm just telling you it didn't happen. I'm just telling you consistently it never happened. So when you look at it as being an easy task and anybody could have did it, that's just you not being appreciative for what was in front of you. This era, with all these heavyweights like Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, even the Joseph Parkers, the Zhangs, all these heavyweights are about to, they're the old guard. They're about to leave. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be a lot of, depending on who you rock with the heaviest, they're about to be in retirement. You're going to get a whole nother reckoning. You're going to get a reality check like no other. We're about to experience the depression again with U.S. heavyweight champions. Here having live panels talking about, who do you think next? Who do you think next? Man, who do you think next? Who? They're going to be sound like American Best Owl doing a freaking optical commercial, glass commercial and shit. Who's going to be next since y'all wanted Wilder out of the sport so much? Who's next, man? Who's going to be the next? White, black, and the other. Who's going to be next to represent this red, white, and blue? That's out here dominating. That's giving you the excitement value, the thrill value. You better understand we already in depression as we know it. The Klitschko's was the reason before, but now it's not even the Klitschko's. It's just the fact that we have a short list of names that's unproven.
For being a champion before, you don't know what it looks like to make some great money. So if you're just in it for the money, then it's not the business for you. So I'm here to regain the titles, but I want to add my name to the list of unified heavyweight champion of the world.
Quickly back to Zhang. How good is Zhang for you?
Man, I like his style. I like
Good
everything.
punch as well.
Yeah, good punch. I like everything about him. That's why I smile when I hear his name, and I love his Atlas name, Big Bang Zhang. I love that.
So Wilder just gave Zhang, a compliment. He said he liked the guy. You know what I'm saying? And this goes back to people saying they don't like the nice Wilder, but yet all they did was bitch and complain about the Wilder who was outspoken and boisterous, right? Very vociferous. You understand me? And now, he's always been the guy who, pretty much was a good sport in boxing when it came to his opponents. Unless they was Dominique Brazil. Unless it was Tyson Fury. And, the first time around it was cool. And then, controversy and all that shit happened. But, giving the Luis Ortiz the shots. You know what I'm saying? Just being in the ring, having these moments of highlights. But he complimented Zhang. You know what I'm saying? He complimented him. But if he was to go up here and believe at his age that he hasn't matured in life, and he say, oh, he's a non-factor, I'm going to go in there and knock him out. He's not trying to prove anything anymore. He's not trying to, have y'all look at him as if just because they was questioning his hunger, do he still have it? He's going to go ahead and be an asshole now, heading into this fight this weekend. He ain't doing it. He showed he's matured. He gave you the up-tempo. He gave you the energy Wilder. You have the ones who loved it and the ones who hated it. At the end of the day, he's the one that's going to walk away with this sport with the understanding that he's did everything he can do, and he no longer he compete at that level. He's made the money to support himself and those who are around him. The best thing is to be satisfied. I don't want to see Wilder return back to the sport, because, like a lot of other fighters do, because, oh man, money is running low and all this other stuff. You know what I'm saying? It was a point in time, I remember I used to be in these debates and they say, oh, Wilder ain't making that much money. And Wilder's not even freaking putting fans in the seats and all that. Well, he's on his last hoorah.
I love that name, but when we get in the ring, I don't like nothing about him. That's how my switch is gonna change.
It just changed just there.
Yeah.
I saw it just changing.
So I can't wait for the fight. I love to be in a good action fight. It's almost like an action movie. I love the thrill of it. I love the suspense of what's gonna happen. You got so many people that's paying to watch it.
We don't know what's gonna happen.
Exactly.
We never know when it could end.
Yep.
What could happen. We know when the right hand lands, normally that's it.
Right, most definitely. And I'll put my right hand up against anyone. If I land this against the flesh of any face, whether that's a human, whether that's an animal, or whether that's an extraterrestrial, something's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I've just been blessed with the gift of power. God have blessed me tremendously. I'm not modifying who I am anymore to please others, but only to please myself, because God blessed me with ability and a talent to be different, to be unique.
And that you are.
In so many ways.
We see that on Saturday?
Is it what? What y'all need to hear that again, man. Because this is the end of the video.
Others. I've just been blessed with the gift of power. God have blessed me tremendously. I'm not modifying who I am. Blessed me with ability and a talent to be different, to be unique.
And that you are.
Hey, he said he's not modifying himself to please others anymore. And that's maturity. Point blank, period. Point blank, period, man. That doesn't mean he think less of his fans. He's not modifying who he is anymore. He's been down that road. He did what he had to do, to provide the excitement value, the shock value to the fans, the bomb squad factor. He did what he had to do. He said he ain't doing it no more. Because, that's what maturity, bro. He's going to be up here approaching, that 40 mark. He ain't doing it no more. He don't have to. You know what I mean? He don't have to do that shit no more. When you get older, you're supposed to mature. You're supposed to put away childish things. That's what they say right in the Bible. Wilder's been in the hurt business. He's been competing as a lighter fighter in the heavyweight division. He's been in there with guys that outweigh him. You know what I'm saying? The scales, really never told a story for Wilder. It's just when he entered the ring, but he just said he's unique. Wilder has always been a unique fighter. He worked with what he had. No one can say that Wilder style was an emulation of somebody else that was competing in his freaking weight class. He's somewhat this fighter. When fighters was coming up and they were saying, oh, they look like Floyd, they look like Floyd, they look like Floyd. No one was talking about Wilder's style being comparable to anyone else. In the heavyweight division, there has been plenty all-time greats, some of the greatest, and they had their own proprietary style specific to them. And Wilder, when he was considered the windmiller, and so much content was done on him wild, and they just don't know. Like, you have to feel a certain way, knowing that you have enough power to basically take the life of another human being. Wilder hitting an average human being with his right hand could potentially kill him. Wilder when he was considered the windmiller, he was knocking dudes out by hitting them with the palm of his glove. He wasn't even landing that shot correctly. He wasn't even lining them up. with the blind too. He wasn't lining them up like that. He was just windmilling, and them punches was damn coming down like cinder blocks. And people made jokes and all that. So be it. But them fighters was falling. Look at Arthur Spilker. He sent Arthur Spilker to the upper room, yo. He sent Arthur Spilker to the upper room. They thought they was about to call the coroner in there for Spilker. And Spilker had better boxing skills than Wilder. He was game. Spilker wasn't no joke, man. Spilker was game. Matter of fact, he just got knocked out. But anyway, in MMA. But Spilker was game though. And Wilder knocked him out almost the same way he did Robert Helenius. And you think about how far apart those fights was. He hit him with a short right uppercut on the inside, off the ropes. How? How do you generate power like that? He's a human being, bro. He's a professional fighter, Spilker. He put that man out cold. Fuck counting sheep. People was goddamn counting his pulse. He wasn't counting anything. The only thing people was counting that he wake up. Wilder was unique. It's been a pleasure. I'm still pulling for Wilder to go ahead and beat Zhang. You know what I'm saying? I always remind people of always look at people as human beings, man. And you know what I'm saying? Having the opportunity when the champ was reigning the finish, shawty. Nobody can take it away from me. Hell to the now. You can't take it away from me. I was there. Yes, I was there. Yeah, I piss him off, y'all. I piss him off. Champ, I wish you nothing but the best heading in there. You know what I'm saying? I wish nothing but the best, champ. Are you going in there? Getting one more victory and potential knockout, you know what I'm saying, to improve your record to 44 wins and 43 knockouts. It's been a pleasure, champ. I ain't gonna lie. It's been a pleasure. It's gonna be a long time before we have just another heavyweight champ that can provide that excitement value to boxing in the heavyweight division. You know what I'm saying? If it's Jared Anderson, he don't have a fucking personality. Dude don't even like doing interviews. You know what I'm saying? Be careful what you ask for, boxing fans. Be careful what you ask for. When you complain, bitch, and whine, and then when you don't have it, then guess what? It's over. Hold up for a second. Hello? Yes. Yes. I'm back. Yeah, always, when it comes to Wilder live streams and Wilder, what I'm saying, lives. Yeah, it's one of those boxers who, I truly appreciated, being able to cover in life. You know what I'm saying? I try to be respectful to the ones I rock with heavy. We have this thing where people will call you dick riders and shit like that, right? And if you don't love the sport, how can you say you love the sport without loving the fighters that's in the sport, especially those that you support heavy? If you love the sport, you're trying to say you love the sport. And if you take the fighters out of the sport, is it considered a sport? You have to ask yourself, does it really make sense to you? Not because WCS is asking these or proposing these questions to you. It's not some type of trivial, and it's not riddles. It's just pretty much saying if you love the sport, you have to love at least some of the fighters that's competing. You have to be that type of that fan, right? That hardcore fan to say, "Hey, I rock with so and so. I'm sticking by it." Okay, so pretty much, I've heard it all when it came to my favorite fighters. I heard it all, and when I was having the opportunity to roll with Wild, I knew it wouldn't last for a long time because, human beings don't allow you to be a part of something for a long time. I don't give off that aura. I'm not an ass kisser. I'm not a yes man. You know what I'm saying? I do pay attention to how people act. I don't allow them a long period of time, you know what I'm saying, to say, okay, let me provide you this rating scale. If you're doing some stupid stuff, I distance myself from it. It's difficult to be close to these fighters and their team. You just have to have that, I guess, that snick about you. You have to have that dynamic for people to keep you around. You know what I'm saying? And the time I was able to cover Wilder in Alabama and all over the place, man, New York and all that, LA, I traveled. You know what I'm saying? It was a great time. You know what I'm saying? And salute to Wilder for having me, you know what I'm saying, allow me to freaking be a part of that Showtime media scrum. You know what I'm saying? I was a part of the media show scrum, Showtime media scrum. That was awesome with PBC. You know what I'm saying? But it's difficult to be able to say, okay, I'm a retired vet and I want to put this time. Like one thing about me, most of the people that I covered, they didn't know I was a veteran. I didn't go up there with no camouflage on. I just basically carried myself as such. And if it's respect, it's respect. If it's not, you won't be seeing me around. I'm done because I'm not putting up with people and trying to treat a guy my age, like I ain't been around, I ain't been living and all that. That's why I said, forget what everybody else say. From what I seen from Wilder, he was good people. People didn't want to hear that because they wanted to talk about how his skill set was. I said, so what does that have to do with me though? Why are you showing hate to me if I'm talking about what I witnessed? You're talking about what you think, you know what I'm saying, what your opinion is of that person from afar. You can only learn so much remotely, but I can guarantee you can learn a lot more up close and personal. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. So, being able to cover him. And I know you're on your way out the door and you're going to enjoy the family life and all that. But champ, I salute you, real talk. You will be missed. I will miss you as a heavyweight champion, as a heavyweight in general, being a part of the class. You know what I'm saying? I will. You know what I'm saying? The spark in the right hand of God. It's no other fighter in the heavyweight division that's providing you with that banger, that hammer, that Thor's hammer, that one shocker. Like who's waiting on that? When they see Wilder fight, they waiting on him to close the show. When is it gonna? One of his knockouts. That right hand. I've been there, bro. It ain't quiet. It ain't motherfucker sitting in there. Oh, he knocked him out. Okay. Now, motherfucker sound like a goddamn bass dropping on a back in the day, a 15-inch subwoofer and shit. When that bass dropped. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, you are appreciated, big dog. From WCS to you, man. I'm going there and knock Zhang out, bro. Give the fans still a taste of what the history consists of with Deontay Wilder. That's all I can say about it, man. You know what I'm saying? That's all I can say about it. They hate when I put that picture up there, but it is what it is, bro. I'm not rubbing nobody's face. I'm just showing my appreciation for being able to cover champ while he was, in this sport, active, reigning, defending heavyweight WBC champion. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. Shout out to my guy Dion Washington out of Tuscaloosa. Salute to you, Dion. You know what I'm saying? Dion known this man ever since they was in grade school, bro. You know what I'm saying? Ever since they was in grade school, man. You know? I remember him telling me that. I didn't know. He told me that way back when, dog. He grew up with the man. But when you around him, you wouldn't know. He ain't up there trying to provide security. Hey, don't get close. You know, it's always cool people. Dion, cool people, man. Real talk. He grew up when Wilder was slapping freaking taste out of kids' mouth before they went into the lunchroom. You know what I'm saying? And then they had to find out, hey, man, you might not want to go out there and do that to Wilder, man. You know, you might not want to do that, man. If you want to taste your pizza at lunch, if you want to taste that milk, you might not want to. You know, goddamn Wilder be slapping. He's probably slapping his classmates back in the day and giving them COVID symptoms. You know, when COVID hit, motherfuckers was losing their taste, smell, all that. Hey, why did you so hard? You come down with the symptoms immediately. And then you go to Walgreens and say, excuse me, can I get the COVID shot? You the kid that was on TV from being goddamn slapped by Wilder, right? It ain't nothing we can do for you. That don't have shit to do with COVID. But shout out to you, champ. Big shout out to Dion Washington, man. You know, staying on code. You know what I'm saying? It's been a pleasure, bro. I'm looking forward to this weekend, Real Talk. A lot of people are going to be tuned in. And regardless of what they say, if you still at a point in your life, knowing that a fighter that you never met, understand one thing, knowing it's a fighter that you never met, this man is about to step away from the sport because he's did everything he could do, right? That's if he loses. It may be if he wins too. I don't see the purpose of him fighting Jared Anderson. I'm going to be honest. But anyway, he gets to a point where you as a boxing fan, you cover the sport, you be around the sport because it's something about it that entices you, right? But if you still at a point knowing Wilder's about to leave and you still have hate for the man, and then you have to question who you are as a person. Because why am I going to generate energy when a person's on their way out? Even Spence, I don't want to see anything happen to Spence, but I'll talk my shit to his fans and I'll talk my shit to Spence. He's not my favorite fighter, but Spence was saying after the Fundora fight, he's retiring. If he was to lose and he's retiring, I'll say, okay, salute to you. I'm not trying to say, okay, F Spence because, you know, what he did way back when and went out there and had an accident. It's over. Long as he's an active fighter, he's going to get the hot grease, period. But when he's on his way out the door, it's over. I don't want to take that man away from his kids. I never sit here and say, oh, well, I don't like this about Wilder. I still remember when he said this. Remember he said that. Oh, okay then, brother. But he's retiring now. You still angry? You have no purpose in life to be angry with that man. Y'all don't have any ties. You're not locked in. You don't owe him any debt. Why would you still have that type of energy? If you rock hard with the sport, you just salute the man and say thank you. He was a U.S. heavyweight champion, and now we are without. We are absent. There's nobody else lined up that has the excitement value that Deontay Wilder brought to the ring. Y'all know goddamn well that is a fact. That is the truth. When y'all seen that man make that ring walk, a lot of y'all, even though you was haters, you was wondering, damn, if he's gonna knock him out. Oh shit, how's this knockout gonna end? Is this and this, you know, Ortiz is in the 7th round, man. Deontay's behind in the fight. Bang! Damn. You know what Wilder say? You need 12 rounds. All I need is a window of opportunity. All I need is that second. That's it. I need the clock to tick, everything to line up. The message is sent. The synapses is active. The mechanical function is executed. And the punch is delivered. That's all we want to see. TheZone.com, the Zern Boxing. Make sure y'all check that out. Make sure y'all check that interview out. Real talk. Deontay Wilder set to return to the ring June 1st. Him and Zhang will lock horns, and we will see how it goes. Of course, there's people that's doubting Wilder's return after the performance he had with Joseph Parker. I didn't like that performance. You know, you have to look at it and say, okay, the fighter took the fight, then you deal with performing the right way. But on the other hand, Joseph Parker was a more active fighter. Wilder didn't make any excuses for that. He still, made himself answer the bell, and he was hurt during that fight. You're talking about a fighter who's been out, in 2 years, no more than a round. He knocked out Robert Helenius in under a minute in the first round. And, Joseph Parker coming there actively seizing the moment. He did what he was supposed to do. Joseph Parker did exactly what he was supposed to do. He's supposed to go in there and win. If Parker didn't go in there with the mentality to win, he should have never laced up. He should have never laced up, and he did. He laced up and he got the victory. Fair and square, period. Now Deontay has absolutely, been on the end of retirement talk. He himself has basically encouraged that. He had basically provided the fans. It wasn't no rumor. He himself is saying, okay, it's highly possible. I'll lose this fight. It's highly possible. Hey, we done. Team Wilder's out. It's been a great ride, goddammit. You know what I'm saying? But we out. But shout out to everyone who tuned in. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Bruce Gas Boxing Jazz, OG on deck. You know what I'm saying? Salute to everyone who support the channel. We will be back on. There's still other topics. You know what I'm saying? But the biggest question heading into June 1st is, will Deontay Wilder, the boxer with the right hand of God, heaviest puncher in the sport, will he baptize Zhang come June 1st? You got to ask yourself, will you be there? Sure you will, because you want to see for yourself. You want to see it and you want to hear it. Peace. I'm out.
Bomb Squad!